Hello there, a very good morning. It is Thursday the 7th of July and you're very welcome along to another morning here on Ireland AM.
You are indeed. We've got a busy show lined up for you, so let's get going. In just a while we'll be talking everything from the cost of living crisis to opinion polls with Sinn Féin's Deputy Leader Pearse Doherty. He's going to be here at 7:45.
It's going to be interesting. Look forward to that. After 8 o'clock we're going to meet the Coffin Confessor, who you can hire to tie up any loose ends after you've passed away. This is incredible. Way to hear some of the things that he's been asked to do.
It's fascinating, because we were like, why wouldn't you just do it before? It's fascinating. Really, really, really good. Plus, Chris Hemsworth's latest stint as Thor. Oh, look at him there. God bless him. In one of the biggest blockbusters of the summer, he's going to be back. We check out all the new movies hitting the big screen this weekend.
My wife is going to look forward to that one.
Oh, is she?
Sure is.
Go on, Lucy.
Alan, what else is coming up?
She likes a bit of Thor, does she, Tommy?
Oh, she loves a bit of Thor.
There you go.
She's always trying to get him. She's always trying to get him to grow the hair. She's like, go on, Tommy. A bit longer there.
Me and the old Thor outfit's not the same now.
Now, is there a heatwave on the way for the weekend? We're going to find out. Plus, with all the air travel disruptions and bags going missing, it was 500 bags went missing in Dublin Airport the other day. We're going to give you a packing masterclass, so you only ever need a carry-on bag onto the plane. Now, Deric, where are you this morning and what's the weather looking like? Are we getting the heat wave?
I'm coming to you live here from the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin city centre. The dry and settle start, some bright spells with some patchy drizzle out there today. But we're here outside the Guinness Storehouse. In fact, we're going to be heading up to the Gravity Garden. It is the highest garden in the country. And up there, we've got Tullamore Trio Chasing Abbey. We're going to be chatting to the lads ahead of the release of their brand new single tomorrow, Hometown. So that's all to come over the next 3 hours. But to sum up, lads, do we have a heat wave this weekend? One word, no. Sorry about that.
What?
Computer says no.
Good morning, everybody.
You have sunk my morning, Deric.
As someone who was on holidays in Ireland last week, I'm delighted.
All right, well, we're going to get more good news from Deric as the day goes on, so here's some more news.
You know those weather people, they always get it wrong. Could be fine.
Over to you, Anne O'Donnell.
Thanks, Tommy. Good morning. Well, we begin in the UK, where all eyes are on Downing Street, where the pressure on Prime Minister Boris Johnson to resign shows no sign of abating. So far, more than 40 Conservative MPs, ministers and government aides have resigned over his handling of a series of scandals. Johnson fired Minister Michael Gove, who threatened to resign if Johnson refused to go. And a number of cabinet ministers called to number 10 Downing Street last night, urging Johnson to go, while protesters also gathered outside, demanding his resignation. However, Johnson remains defiant, insisting he is getting on with the job.
He should finally resign because he's lost the confidence of the House of Commons. He's lost the confidence of his own party. When you consider the number of resignations that we've seen today, when you consider that the House of Commons tomorrow is going to be dysfunctional because the Conservatives are not even going to be able to operate bill committees because they haven't got the ministers to do it.
He didn't get Brexit done. We should never, and I don't want to be a Moaner or Remainer, but we should never have had Brexit. It's a total shambles. He didn't roll out the vaccine, and I'm so sick of him. I think the whole rotten lot need to go.
There's some pressure on government here at home today after Donegal TD Joe Mchugh resigned as Fine Gael party whip last night. The former Minister for Education voted against government legislation breaking ranks over its proposed MICA redress scheme. This left government without a Dáil majority last night. However, government is insisting they still have a working majority. Over 2 billion people faced difficulty accessing food last year. That's according to a new UN report. The war on Ukraine is expected to make the global crisis even worse.
The UN report published last evening paints a very grim picture and confirms that food security is now a major global issue. The report shows that world hunger rose in 2021, with around 2.3 billion people facing moderate or severe difficulty obtaining enough to eat. It's a growing crisis caused by a number of factors, including climate change. The report not yet taking into account the predicted negative impact on grain supplies caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
World hunger has been on an alarming upward trend in the recent years. As many as 828 million people may have suffered from hunger in 2021.
UN Development Goals call for ending extreme poverty and hunger by 2030, but the report says projections indicate that 8% of the world's population, nearly 670 million people, will be facing hunger at the end of the decade, the same number as in 2015 when the UN adopted its goals. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
And the central bank has said that while the economy is forecast to grow this year, it has revised the rate of growth down. In the regulator's latest quarterly bulletin out today, the impact of the war in Ukraine, high inflation and heightened uncertainty are reducing consumer and business confidence, with signs this is having a negative effect on spending. Well, the bank also expects inflation will start to decline during the second half of this year.
For car insurance, van insurance or home insurance, call the Quote Devil. Unless, of course, you've got money to burn.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. We're live here, Market Street, in the heart of Dublin City Centre this morning. I have Valera with us on cameras. And let's take an opening look at weather together now this Thursday morning. The good news is that it is a mainly dry and settled start. A good deal of cloud cover, but no sign of any rain out there at the moment now in those light to moderate northwesterly breezes. Now, right across today, in fact, that cloud cover hanging on with us. We will see some bright spells developing, quite limited in nature too, and top values of 16 to 22. And finally then tonight, that cloud cover hanging on with us for many years. It will clear out for a time with some passing drizzle and some mist to take us through into tomorrow morning, with overnight lows back to about 10 to 14 degrees. So that's how we're shaping up in Dublin City Centre at the moment. We'll catch you again back live at 7:35.
For first-time drivers, young drivers, returning drivers, if you've had an open claim or have had too many penalty points.
The Quote Devil's always got one hell of a quote. It's time now to take a look at today's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline: Johnson rejects cabinet calls to resign. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has rejected calls from his cabinet to resign, promising to fight on and claiming he should remain in power due to the mandate given to him by 14 million voters in the 2019 general election.
The Examiner also goes with that. Their headline: Johnson rejects calls to resign as he sacks Gove. And also Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis has become the latest MP to step down.
So that's over 40 resignations. Now Varadkar back on course for power after leak probe ends. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar is on course to return to the office of Taoiseach in 5 months' time after a Garda investigation into his leaking of a confidential GP contract cleared him of any wrongdoing.
The Mirror goes with leaking Leo in the clear.
And the Herald's headline: Leo's in the clear of leak.
In day of turmoil, anxious Fianna Fáil TDs meet in secret is the top story in the Daily Mail. The report that a breakaway group of Fianna Fáil backbenchers met in secret yesterday, hours before a wounded government lost its Dáil majority.
The Sun's front page: War and Taoiseach. The Taoiseach visited mass graves in Ukraine yesterday and said that Ireland will continue to support Ukrainians seeking refuge in a time of such barbarity.
And finally, the Star leads with still a coward and bully. Tragic Jenny Poole's brutal killer, Gavin Murphy, attacked a prison officer in Mountjoy Prison.
Now it's time for a very quick break, but we'll bring you more on those headlines next.
See you in a couple minutes.
Welcome back. From Boris battling on to our government losing the majority, the political world, it is reeling this morning.
It certainly was a busy evening last night. Here with the latest is Bauer Media political correspondent Sean DeVoe. Always tricks me up, that one. Let's stay closer to home and start with Leo Varadkar.
Yeah.
I mean, the DPP obviously didn't want to go ahead with that. No real surprise, is it?
Not a huge surprise, no. And geez, like, what a 24 hours in politics, first of all. Like, this kind of came in the middle of everything.
You've been awake all night?
I don't think I've slept. It's just coffee hooked to the vein, you know, and Sky News on in the background the whole time.
But this goes back to the alleged leaking of a confidential document.
Yeah, it does. So this is when, in 2019, Leo Varadkar, not alleged leaking, he did leak a document that was confidential. And admitted it, yeah, which is kind of why his statement was a little strange, that he always said he didn't do anything wrong here. He did actually admit to leaking the document and that it was the wrong thing to do, but I think he meant criminally wrong, which is what he kind of left out of the statement. So he leaked a pay agreement with the GP organisation, the IMO, to a friend of his who at the time was leading a rival GP organisation. Now, Gardaí took a long time to investigate this and they sent a fairly hefty case file to the DPP, but last night it came out the DPP decided not to prosecute anyone involved in it. Leo Varadkar obviously welcoming that he isn't going to be prosecuted. Comes at a really good time for him, week before the Dáil recess, because this was really hanging over politics for quite a while. while, because he had a lot of questions about could a Taoiseach who was under criminal investigation become the Taoiseach? Was there going to be a Fine Gael heave against him as a result? And, if he was prosecuted, if there was any sort of charges brought, his political career was going to be toast, at least in the short term. So I think a big relief for him, and provides a bit more stability to the government at a time when there was quite a lot of instability yesterday as well.
Yes, losing the majority.
Yes, so this was happened.
Well, it'd be interesting, just to let people know that we will have Pearse Doherty on at 7:45 as well. It'd be interesting to get his take on that one.
Big fan of Leo.
Of course he is, yeah.
I'm sure he's delighted, that this has come. The other big news yesterday politically, just coming an hour or two before the good news for Leo Varadkar, if you like, was that Joe Mchugh, the Donegal TD, has resigned the Fine Gael whip, and that technically means the government no longer has a majority in the Dáil. So
79
of
160 votes.
Exactly, and 80 obviously is a bare majority. This government started with 84 guaranteed votes in June of 2020, so it's kind of whittled away. You had Owen Murphy, who resigned, left politics, lost the seat to Labour. Mark Mchugh from Fianna Fáil defected to the opposition benches, and then the two Green Party TDs, Neasa Hourigan and Patrick Costello, who voted against the government on a Sinn Féin motion on the National Maternity Hospital, which we talked about on the show obviously before.
So what does that mean?
So, it's this interesting one where, I think in times past, and we'll get into this a bit with Boris Johnson as well, this would possibly mean a government collapsing. If you lost your majority votes, it means that you can't be guaranteed you're going to get any of your legislation through. But there's a bit more nuance with it this time, because those two Green Party TDs are only suspended. They're going to be back in the fold in November, and in reality, from the opposition benches, they've been voting with the government anyway. Leo Varadkar told his party last night he believes Joe Mchugh is going to vote with the government from the opposition benches. And when it came to that vote for Taoiseach back in June 2020, they actually got 93 because 8 independents supported them.
They also have Michael Lowry. They've got independents.
Michael Lowry, Noel Grealish. They have Cathal Berry. These independents who vote with them on an issue-by-issue basis, usually kind of in exchange for the year of a minister on some constituency issue.
So he's resigned, but he can still vote?
Well, he's resigned from Fine Gael, but not as a TD.
And we always knew he wasn't going to go with this, because he has said he is the TD in Donegal, a TD in Donegal, and with the micro redress scheme, obviously, he's voting for his constituents.
Yeah. And it's a huge issue for those in Donegal. Now, Joe Mchugh's in an interesting political position. He's already confirmed he's not running for election again, so he doesn't have that hanging over him, and just decided to take the moral position. We haven't debated this enough. There's huge issues with it. The families aren't getting enough money. I can't support it and I'm going to go. But he may well vote the government on other issues. It does leave them kind of on shaky ground ahead of the budget, though, because while on non-consequential votes you can kind of rely on all those ones from the opposition benches, when it comes to a budget that's going to be as critical as this one's going to be, and potentially controversial given how much people are struggling, I'm not sure that's entirely the case.
And he's close to Leo Varadkar. Like, they would be annoyed by this, would they?
Well, I think they saw it coming. There would be an element of annoyance. He was appointed to cabinet by Leo Varadkar. He's a former education minister. He's a long-time Fine Gael stalwart, really, for them in Donegal. So it puts them in a difficult position electorally in Donegal, and it makes it difficult for them numbers-wise in the Dáil. But it's not something they were massively surprised at. Really, the only one in Donegal who was supporting the Micah scheme is the Fianna Fáil minister, Charlie McConnell. And I suppose he made the calculation, I'm not giving up my cabinet seat for this.
He's the agriculture minister, absolutely. So that's what's happening there. But again, we're not in this unstable ground that we thought we would be, whereas when we look to the UK, it's like, I'm a Prime Minister, you can't get me out of here.
Rock of stability by comparison to the UK.
I'm not leaving.
No.
I'm not going. And now people are talking today about him hitting the nuclear option by asking the Queen to call a snap general election, with her going, she might say no to that, to be like, no, this is not worth a snap general election. People just want you gone, because we're over 40 ministers. By the way, the amount of ministers they have in 140.
They have as many ministers almost as we have TDs. I couldn't believe it. I was like, sorry, how many do you have that all these people in age are gone?
They're like Brexit, so everyone gets a job because we need trade ministers everywhere.
Well, it obviously shows they're not needed by how many can just drop out.
But it's like, the junior ministers for buttons and posts. Like, these ridiculous titles that were coming up and that they were shouting at
them. That's a job I'd like.
Yeah. Chocolate buttons and posts. Give it Tommy Bow.
Lovely button there now. That's great.
But what does this all mean? Because it was all kicking off in the news last night and everybody's resigning, but the main man still seems to be in position.
Like, you're watching the tennis on one screen and then you're watching a ticker tape of how many people have resigned on the other.
Yeah, usually dual screen with sports. Yesterday it was politics. You had the Parliament on, you had the Dáil, you had the tennis, you had everything like that. And another resignation this morning, Brandon Lewis, the Northern Ireland Secretary, he's gone. So that makes it 5 cabinet ministers and I think 48 overall who have gone at this stage. Any other person, any other government, any other time in history, that'd be gonzo. You'd be out the door. But as you say, Boris Johnson is digging in the heels. Front page of the British papers having great fun with this today, by the way. I think it was the Mirror has get exit done, so get Brexit done.
Exit done.
And then there's some really dark ones. The Sun has a quote that allegedly came from Boris last night that if you want to get rid of me, you have to get blood on your hands. That he is really digging in here. Doesn't have the support in his party. But actually, I did a Let Me Explain podcast on this.
You'll have to dip your hands in blood to get rid of
That's like, what a headline for actually have in 2022. But I did a podcast on this a couple of weeks ago on the News Start Let Me Explain podcast about how you do a heave and how not to do a heave. And the Tories kind of botched this a few weeks ago because they had a motion of no confidence against him. He won it essentially by promising a load of things to the really far right in his party on the Northern Ireland Protocol. And that means he can't be challenged for another year. So had they just not done that, waited until he lost the 2 by-elections, which we knew he would do, or make another blunder, which we knew he would do, they could actually get him out. But they're now thinking of changing the rules to vote him out maybe tomorrow, if he hasn't locked the doors and changed all the keys and down the street by that stage.
It does feel like a dictatorship is happening in the UK. Like, I'm not joking. It's that sort of thing of, I'm not going. It's fascinating. Like, it is fascinating. I know a lot of people are like, why are we so upset? It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I mean, listen, I'd say we must all be fascinated. Like, all BBC presenters.
Oh, they're so engaged in it at all times. Like, they're just, they're unbelievable, aren't they? They're so focused.
What do you think, Alan? Are you fascinated by it as well?
Well, hold on. The BBC presenters, I think we can see how fascinated they are by what's going on with Boris at all times. Let's have a look at this.
We know a number of cabinet ministers have gone into number 10. One of them is Nadine Dorries, who came out.
If you saw the stuff we'd be doing here when the camera is not on.
I just wanted to catch Alan out there. I wanted to catch him quickly. Oh, there, you look.
You all right, Alan?
I'm grand. What are we doing?
Reading the sports pages, of course.
Can I just say, Alan would absolutely just be sitting there going, I'm keeping them up, lads. I'm not taking them back down. Sean Defoe, I know you've got a big day ahead of you, multi-screening on what's going on with the politics.
That's great. What a time to be alive.
I'm telling you, from
what a time to be alive.
Political correspondent with Barry, thank you so much for joining
us. It really is. Alan, tell us what's going up.
Well, I tell you now, after a little quick nap, after the break, I'm going to ask the important question. Can we bring out the barbecue this weekend? As Met Eireann's Joanna Donnelly gives us her verdict. Is it going to be a heatwave or not? See you after this. Now, as many of you know out there, we haven't had much of a summer, but reports of a heat wave are getting our hopes up for some sunshine. And here to set the record straight is Met Eireann's Joanna Donnelly. Good morning to you. It's not really going to be a heat wave, is it?
No, not really a heat wave as such. That's, temperatures have to get over 25 degrees and for a prolonged period and widespread. We're not likely to get that. Now, we are going to get to 25 degrees by the end of the weekend and into early Monday. But it's not likely to be a widespread 25 and it's not likely to last that long.
What are we expecting then from today? It is going to start from today.
Good weather. Oh, it's been improving all the week. The Azores high.
What is an Azores high?
Yeah, we'll start with that, An anticyclone. A high pressure is an anticyclone. So winds going clockwise around the anticyclone there. So that puts us into a western-northwest airflow because that's 1,035. That's high. So it's high pressure. The Azores there are the little islands, so the high pressure there is sitting over the Azores, and that's why we call it the Azores high.
And lots of people are saying once that settles over the Azores there, it tends to stay for a while.
That's why it's got the name. And in the winter, we know about the Scandinavian high. So that's an area of high pressure that sits over Scandinavia. I'm doing the pointing here.
Yeah.
And so that's why we name areas of high pressure, because they stay in the area that they form. They're big, they're slow moving. They're not like low pressure systems that we're used to here in Ireland. They move fast and they change direction and they're
totally different the next day.
Yeah, completely different.
So we're expecting this to stay until what, mid next week?
Yeah, well, it's going to move up over us further and it's going to settle directly over us. So it's rather cloudy at the moment. That's because it's over the Atlantic. It's sending in moisture and builds cloud. So that's the sort of gloomy look. But as it settles over us, that cloud will disappear and the skies will get bluer. Each day will get a little bit sunnier and a little bit warmer as we move into the weekend because it's going to settle directly over us.
And is the whole country going to see sunshine over the weekend?
We should, well, yeah, OK, yes.
Yes!
I decree it.
Give us some hope. But we are going to get to 25. When could we see a top temperature?
That's likely to be on Monday in the Midlands. So obviously it gets hottest inland because the sun shines on the land and heats the land and that's what makes it warm. It's not the air that's 25 degrees. So the land will get warm and heat the air above it. And that's likely to be in the Midlands. anywhere you're near the coast, you're going to get a little bit cooler because winds come off the coast and the sea temperatures are only about 14 or 15 degrees. So on the beaches, a little bit chillier. Inland is a higher temperature.
But still get the sun factor out. But the barbecues can come out for the weekend.
They can. They can come out now because we've got mostly dry weather over the next few days. Now, the west coast will still see a little cloud, a little drizzle just for a couple of days, but it's going to improve everywhere. And
can we see it lasting past next week? I know you sort of say 10 days is the max you can really give an accurate prediction, but do you think that might just slowly, we might get to the end of next weekend?
Alan.
To the end of next weekend even, no?
Yeah. So with high pressure, I have a phrase learned from my forecaster teams, don't break down the high until the high breaks down, because high pressure is a big, stable area of air, and when the Atlantic tries to get through it, it doesn't always manage to get all the way through it. So at the moment, it looks like there's a weather front coming through on Tuesday, but looking at the spread of the computer models and how confident the computer models are in that, I'm going to downgrade the possibility of that happening. I've decreed it. I've decided.
So even we might get 2 weekends of nice weather.
On Tuesday, that possibility, but pressure building again after that. So it looks like it's good for the foreseeable.
Now we are saying that we've had a horrible summer so far, have we?
The perception certainly has been that it's been poor. We have had really unseasonable windy weather, and Tropical Storm Alex came through very early. The tropical storm season kicked off really early this year, and we all know why that is. We won't get into it now, but so Tropical Storm Alex came and brought some really strong winds and heavy rain, and then we had the jet stream firing directly onto Ireland. That sends the low pressure systems directly into our path. Lots of wind, lots of convective.
Which made it feel cooler than maybe it was.
Made it feel cooler, yeah. The air temperature was probably coming in at around normal for the time of year in the southeast of the country. In the east, it's below normal in the west. But when we say mean temperature, we're averaging over day and night. So the daytime temperatures have been pretty low for this time of year.
But we are going to see an improvement.
We've decreed it.
And Joanne said we're going to get 2 weekends of nice weather over the next 2 weekends. So that's something to look forward to. Thank you very much for that. Get the barbecues out. Now, coming up after the break, Sinn Féin's Deputy Leader Pearse Doherty joins us in studio. We'll see you in a few minutes.
You're very welcome back. Now from coalition cracks to the soaring cost of living. It's been a busy old week in the Dáil.
It certainly has. We're joined now by Sinn Féin Deputy Leader and Finance spokesperson Pearse Doherty. Good morning, Pearse. It's lovely to have you here. Your good friend Leo Varadkar is pictured on the front of a lot of papers this morning. He is not going to be charged with any criminal wrongdoing in the case of leaking confidential GP contracts. Now, when it comes to being a politician, there's an awful lot to be like the relationship that is had with the media, between politicians, that an awful lot of leaking goes on. Is that not fair to say? Across the parties?
I think we have to, if you look at this incident, and obviously Leo Varadkar, as he said, he's been under criminal investigation for the last 2 years, and it was always up to the DPP to decide whether they wanted to prosecute. They've made their decision. But we've never said that he committed a crime. What we said is he leaked confidential documents. And in fairness to Leo Varadkar, he admitted to that in the Dáil.
He did, yeah.
He had leaked a contract to a rival organisation. The contract had confidential written in every page. He didn't inform anybody in his department, his general secretary, indeed the minister that was involved in negotiation wasn't. And that type of politics comes at a cost, because that type of politics of the insiders is not the type of politics that I want to see. We've seen far too much of that. We've seen a revolving gate in relation to politics, those in high finances, those that have access to the corridors of power.
Pearse,
and we really need to be transparent.
All the time. I mean, this isn't a new thing for things in government to be leaked. To whether it be to sources, to newspapers. I mean, all the way through COVID, we are getting different mixed messages all the time. So, to have a go... Now, listen, and Leo Varadkar absolutely admitted he did wrong.
Yeah, and I take your point, Tommy, in terms of leaking information, and the media, work on that basis and thrive on that basis. I think when you take it to a different point, because you do see that all the time, and people aren't, jumping up and down in relation to, where did this leak come from or where did that leak come from? But we're talking about a multi-million multi-million-euro contract. We're talking about money that the state was involved in. We're talking about a rival organisation which were not involved in the negotiations that sought that information from the Minister for Health, and the Minister for Health refused to give them to him. Yeah. And then there was contact, between text messages that were deleted from Leo Varadkar's phone in relation to trying to get that information that was given to them. So what I believe is that Leo Varadkar abused the position of Taoiseach at that point in time. So this isn't about, giving a little bit of scale or what's about to happen next week in relation to announcement the governments are doing. This was a multi-million-euro contract negotiations that were being discussed.
And he got caught doing it.
And he absolutely got caught.
And that is a thing. But cleared of wrongdoing as well.
Cleared of any criminal wrongdoing.
Let's move on to what happened last night as well with Fine Gael, Joe Mchugh stepped down over the whole Mika redress scheme. I mean, is there a fine line between sticking by your party but also sticking to your principles with what he did yesterday?
Well, first of all, I welcome what Joe Mchugh did. And for anybody who to vote against their party is a big step, regardless of anything. So that's to be acknowledged. After that vote last night, myself, Mary Lou McDonald, my colleague Padraig McLaughlin, Ona Bryn, we went outside and we spoke to the campaigners, some of the campaigners who were still outside the gates. To tell you the truth, we were just hugging them because they were in tears. Absolutely in tears. They fought an unbelievable battle. Like, we have to step into their shoes. Their houses are crumbling down. They spoke to us last night in tears and saying, I don't have 50,000. I don't have 5,000, never mind 50,000. This scheme will not work for them. They have children that are going to bed and they're looking up at cracks in their ceilings. This needed to be got right last night.
And that's why Joe did.
And Joe did, in fairness,
and to vote against his party.
And I welcome that. And it's a pity more didn't do that.
But we're at a time where the government, the coalition, has lost its majority. And an awful lot of times when that happens, you're like, well, obviously, there could be a general election very soon, but we're going into the summer recess. We do know that politicians like Met Eireann and Patrick Costello have lost the whip. And Joe Mchugh, they're going to vote with the government. So it's not at such a... But the mind does go to, well, a general election could be closer than we thought, than in 2025. And when you ran in the last general, you had a fantastic outcome, getting so many TDs through, 37 out of 42 candidates, with 17 brand new candidates that you had last time in the general election. Do you think that you're ready with so many new people involved in politics to take on the leadership of the country? And right now, are you taking the time with candidates that could be running in the next general election to kind of train them up? Because there is training involved in this job.
We're absolutely ready. I think, there's a team there of us that have been there for quite a longer time. And then there's new candidates. But I think that anybody who looks at the likes of Claire Irwin, who was elected as a first-time candidate there 2 years ago, absolutely performing out of her skin, ready to be a minister in the morning, would do a far better job in terms of social protection, or indeed Mairead Farrell from Galway, and there's many, many more like that. So, look, we made a mistake in the last general election. We didn't run enough candidates, but we're not going to make that mistake the next time. And
but some missteps, the shouting of the up the ra, stuff like that, kind of leaning into other things, some issues with some candidates, what they were saying online, like quite virulent things online on Facebook that you're like, you can't be saying stuff like that. Just little mistakes. Is that something that you're trying to get more discipline into the party with brand new candidates?
It's not that. It's like, look, we're focused on what's happening in real people's lives. On the ground, people are going through a massive cost of living crisis. Before we had a cost of living crisis, we have a housing crisis that are still there. So Sinn Féin are rooted in our communities. We understand where people are at. We're not out of touch compared to this government. And we're bringing forward solutions and policies that can change things for the better. And people are seeing that. So we did well in the last general election. And you can see in every single opinion poll since, our support continues to grow. Now, we take none of that for granted. We need to know, we know that we need to continue our constituency work. We need to continue offering solutions. We need to continue offering hope, because we're doing a series of public meetings out there, and there's a lot of people who don't have hope. And I can understand that, given what's going on with this government. But there is hope there, because change is coming, and the government, clubbed together, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the old rivals clubbed together to keep Sinn Féin out. But that can only happen for so long, in my view.
But what did this government, what more can they do? I mean, they've moved the budget ahead. They've moved it up to 6.5%, which is unprecedented, breaking their 5% rule. They are throwing money at this. Really, what else can they do? Where else can they get the money to help people?
First of all, we should have a budget this week. So they moved the budget by 14 days because of pressure from Sinn Féin.
But do you worry that things were only at the eye of the storm, that things could get a lot worse going into winter time?
That we don't know how much things are going to cost in 5 months' time.
Yeah, well, look, we've made it clear, and because the way gas and energy is priced in the international market and purchased, it is going to get worse. The autumn is going to see price increases.
So to have a budget at this stage, we might have to have another budget in 4 months' time.
Well, we have a scheduled budget anyway, always in October, which will deal with the later part of the year and next year. But you asked, can things get worse? For people at this point in time, they're in crisis mode. We see it in terms of the reports. There's another report out this morning. Inflation is going to peak at over 10%, the central bank tells us. What does those numbers mean? People don't really need those reports or those numbers, which doesn't mean much to families because they're seeing it every day. They're seeing it if they're driving down the road and have to fill petrol or diesel in the car.
Everybody sees it.
But there is a responsibility in government to act, to protect. So the central bank, the Irish Fiscal Advisory Council, the ESRI are all saying the government could do more. The resources are there. A budget should be introduced now.
But we've had energy rebates, OK? The back-to-school clothing and footwear allowance, that's coming into effect on Monday the 11th. So next Monday, that's going to be happening. They have done stuff right now. And we all know that our energy costs are low right now because it's summer. We're all right. But it is going to be like we're all going to get a slap in the face when it hits October because those energy bills are going to be absolutely massive, even though we know energy companies are making supernormal profits. They have moved things forward and they're trying to give people what they need right now, knowing that it's going to get much worse.
Well, look, if you take, for example, the back-to-school clothing and footwear allowance, it's widely accepted that it was Sinn Féin that forced government into that. Their mantra for weeks were, we're doing nothing until the budget. Yet we continue to press them on this issue. And they took some of our policy in relation to this, but more than what they've failed to do is there's 500,000 children who are children of those families in the middle. People, for example, if you have one child and you earn household earns above €620, you don't get anything. There's a huge cohort in the middle that we believe that this should be extended to. So, we acknowledge that there's some measures that the government have done, but they haven't gone far enough. So we can reduce petrol and diesel further. We can... How? By reducing the excise duty that is charging it to the maximum.
So you want to do that? Money that is coming into the government that you're going to use to put to other things?
The hospitals, roads, schools.
And even your new childcare system where you're wanting to cut childcare fees by 2/3. I don't understand. How can you do it? How realistic is it?
Well, it's very realistic, and not only is it realistic, it's really necessary. We can, with the right political will...
Absolutely necessary, but where's the money to do all this?
I'll give you an example, Tommy. For example, we've been arguing that we should increase the solidarity tax of 3% on individual incomes above €140,000. If we introduce that single measure, we would be able to reduce fees for every single family by 2/3 come next September in terms of childcare fees. Now, people are paying extortionate fees. In Dublin here, it's well over €1,000. On average across the state per month, it's €800. And that's if you have one child.
But then you're wanting to get rid of the property tax.
But when we talk about the wealth tax...
Which brings in a lot more money than what that solidarity tax would.
We're talking about the wealth tax now. And we are talking about the squeeze middle as well. So €140,000. It's not what it was 10 years ago. To be, there's people who are earning €40,000 and my God, I don't know how people are surviving. It is so incredibly hard. If you're a single person, there's not a hope in hell of you getting a house in this country. But €140,000. So you take away, you want to reduce taxes for everyone underneath that and then increase taxes for people over €140,000. How is that going to bring in the money in order for us to build more houses? I just can't see where the math comes from. Well, how it works.
Well, so first of all...
I wanted to.
OK, so when your economy grows, you have more money anyway. So you bring in we are bringing in additional money through tax revenue. Indeed, inflation benefits the exchequer. So every time you see your petrol increase, every time you see your energy, every time you see your food bill increase, then the state brings in more tax in terms of that. So compared to the time when the budget was announced last year, we are over €8 billion better off in terms of revenue. So that money, some of that money is available to spend. What we're looking at is additional resources. So, yeah, some people will argue €140,000 isn't a huge amount of money for an individual. I believe it is the appropriate point where any portion above that, we should ask them to pay 3% more tax. And as Minister for Finance, if I were in that position, for me, it would be a no-brainer. Do I cut childcare fees for every single family in the state who have children in childcare by 2/3?
So it would be a universal measure. measure.
Absolutely.
You want it to be a universal measure.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you often talk about, you've been critical of universal measures, that they're not targeting the people who need the most, and you do advocate for means testing. But for this, you want it to be a universal measure so the people who are paying more tax would also get it.
Absolutely, because Sinn Féin also believes in the idea that the state has to respond to people's needs. So we believe, for example, in universal healthcare, free at the point of delivery, and we believe that childcare is also a public service. It's really important to encourage people to participate in the economy. Many families have to opt out of work because the high cost in terms of childcare. Yeah. But also the best way to deal with the costs is through tax that are linked to income.
I have to ask you quickly, we're running out of time, but we're seeing what's going on over across the water at the minute with Boris Johnson, with losing MPs left, right and centre. If Mary Lou was in a similar situation, would you encourage her to step down?
Morning.
I'm just trying to picture the question of Mary Lou being in a similar situation to Boris Johnson. I don't think anybody could be in a similar situation to Boris Johnson.
In hot water, would you be kind of saying, listen, I think that this is time to maybe move on?
Listen, I can make it very clear that myself and Mary Lou have a very good relationship, and there would be no situation that I could ever imagine where Mary Lou would be that out of touch with where people are at, where the public are at. And look, that's why, as the leader of our party, she continues to see our party grow under the direction. But there's a very serious issue here.
If Boris was to step down, would you have a favoured candidate to replace him?
No, that's up to the British
to decide.
No, that's up to the British. The key thing that we need to do, because Boris Johnson has torn up an international agreement in relation to Brexit, but he's also torn up another international agreement, and that is in relation to dealing with legacy. We need a British Prime Minister who can sit down and deal with both whoever is the Irish Taoiseach or those in the Assembly, and somebody that when they cut a deal can be trusted to maintain that deal. So what the play antics that are going on in relation to the House of Commons is for them to sort out, but unfortunately, as that is going on, we are in the crosshairs. The Assembly's in the crosshairs, the Brexit's in the crosshairs, and the Irish people, as a result of what could
so
play
if they
from
were
that,
to have to deal with
crosshairs.
Ireland, and you talked about sitting down with the Taoiseach, you know, we've seen you butt heads with a number of the coalition members, but if you were to sit down and have a drink with one of the coalition members' leaders, who would you sit down with in the future?
Look, I've had drinks with ministers in the coalition in the past.
Anybody in particular?
I would be happy to sit down with any
Which
of the
leader do you have a
to
drink with? Go on, you're going for a pint.
Probably Eamon Ryan. He comes to Gweedore plenty of times, you know, so I would have to explain to him the importance and the tradition of cutting turf, and the fact that in the middle of an energy crisis that, you know, you need to drop
sit down for a pint with you as well?
As I said, I would sit down with any of them to tell you.
We're trying to find out who he's going to go into coalition with, and he goes straight to the turf cutting. Fair play to him.
Whether there'd be any outcome at the end of that, I don't know. But look, I think it's important that we, even through our differences, that we try and find common.
What a political sidestep there. We're like, who's he going to talk to if he goes into? We've got coalition talks coming up.
But we've made it very clear. We'll talk to anybody.
You will absolutely talk to anyone.
Sinn Féin Deputy Leader Pearse Doherty, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Loads more Ireland AM to come after the break. See you in a few. To Thursday's Ireland AM.
We chat on the way to the Coffin Confessor, a private investigator turned professional funeral crasher who ties up any loose ends after you've passed away. This is fascinating.
You want to tune into it, it's amazing. Room to Improve's quantity surveyor Claire Irwin on how to get the best value in your home improvements.
And with the travel chaos continuing, we're helping you with the one thing you can control, packing your suitcase.
Over to Alan in the kitchen.
Thank you, Tommy. Daniel Lambert is on kitchen duty this morning. What have you got for us, Daniel?
Good morning. We're making spiced potato cakes.
Spice? I have them here. They look delicious. Spicy, and how spicy?
Oh, they're not as spicy as the last time.
Okay. Quite simple, then.
Spicy enough.
Quite simple to do?
Very simple. It's just, if you have any leftover mashed potato in the house, you can use it up with the spices. You know, so it's very easy.
In the pan.
The pan, done.
Looking forward to that.
You're very welcome back.
It's been a busy old morning.
It's been a busy old morning, but later on we are going to, with the 500 bags going missing in Dublin Airport every day.
A day.
And we were saying this. I know we can't get over this yesterday. So we said that we would bring on a little...
Our producer today was watching, as myself and Alan were like, we'll do that tomorrow. And Katrina was like, thanks, lads. Cheers.
We are going to do it tomorrow, about if you just have to bring on your carrier bag, your hand luggage, what's the best way to pack it.
Yeah, it's easy for you guys. Like, try to get all the kids' stuff into a hand.
Well, we understand that now, Tommy. We understand that.
It's all about you.
Heading off for 2 weeks here, and I'll pack it all in the small bag.
Can they bring hand luggage?
They can bring. Have you seen the little trunky things?
Yeah, but
no. But
can you bring a hand luggage for 10 kg for a child?
If you've paid for a seat for a child, they can bring a hand luggage.
So you can bring 2 hand luggages.
And they'll want to bring their toys and their teddies. Honestly, it'll be
really.
So that's where we're going to have the hack and how to pack up all the kids.
But you know, so we're asking you at home, what's your little packing hacks? Is there any little tricks that you do that you to manage to get it all into one carry-on bag?
I bet you're good. Are you?
I am good, actually. And what I do is, like, I saw that some of the hacks, like, if you're bringing a pair of trainers or a pair of runners, stuff them with socks and underwear and things.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Do you roll up T-shirts?
No, I don't really. I just lie everything really flat.
You do live out of a suitcase, though. So
no, I don't live out of a suitcase.
I don't even know if he's tax resident in Ireland. You're not here enough. It's mad. So if something's happened, you know when your case is over and you put it in the little machine and it's too big and bulky, like, what have you done? What are the things that you've done? Any pictures for us? Send them in 0896 111 111.
If the kids ask you to sit on the suitcase to get it all, send us.
That's not good. But like, if you have any hacks that we think be really clever that you've done, that we go, now that's good.
Video it and send it in.
We'll give you a little prize.
I'm saying nothing. Do we have prizes?
Our producer's going, no, we won't.
You can go on holidays with Alan. Now, up next, from settling your old scores to hiding embarrassing items, this is going to be very funny. We're chatting to the Coffin Confessor, who carries out posthumous...
Posthumous.
Posthumous.
Sorry, stop laughing. No, he just... You didn't know that was...
That's after the break, yeah. OK. Now, our next guest is certainly one of a kind. His job involves carrying out the dying last wishes by gay-crashing their funerals or hiding anything that could get them in trouble.
I know, you're sitting there kind of going, what? Why? Like, a lot of people know they're going to die, having together, waiting to hear this. We're delighted to welcome Bill Edgar, a.k.a. the Coffin Confessor, to Ireland AM. G'day, Bill. How are you doing?
G'day. Thank you for having me.
Bill, can you just tell us, what exactly is it that you do and how did you get into this?
So to be honest with you, it started as a joke. I told a dying man that I'd crash his funeral and he took me up on it. And since then, I crashed a number of funerals and it's opened doors to other various avenues.
What do you mean crash funerals? Like, what do you do for these people? Because like they want you to be there.
And coffin crashers.
Yeah, well, I expose their secrets, their desires, their wishes, their fantasies, and also the vultures in the family that are lurking around, whilst they're on their deathbed, divvying up their assets before they're even gone.
So give us an example. What was the first funeral that you crashed and how did that go?
So the first funeral I crashed was for a gentleman named Graham who was terminally ill. We got to talking about death and the afterlife and a few things. I suggested he do his own eulogy. He said he'd been to too many funerals in the past where the eulogy just isn't played out of disrespect or the family just doesn't play it. So I suggested I crash his funeral for him, and I did so. But at that funeral, I had to tell his best mate, while his best mate was performing the eulogy, to sit down, shut up or bugger off. Graham laying in the coffin's got something to say, and this is what it is.
And what did Graham have to say, Bill?
Well, Graham noticed that Brian was trying to crack onto his wife while he was on his deathbed, and Graham couldn't defend himself, and he needed somebody to help. So I exposed Brian to the crowd. I also asked 3 mourners to stand up, identify themselves, and also leave because they hadn't seen Graham in 30 years. So why were they there paying their respects when they could have done it when they were alive?
I'm sorry, I think this is brilliant because, as you mentioned, vultures come in when people are, like, they're gone. There's nothing that they can do. So you're there to kind of protect people and make sure that things happen, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they could ask somebody in the family to do it, but ultimately the family or friends just don't do it. They'll just sit there and they'll listen to the BS that goes on in funerals. So I'm acting as a third party. I'll go along and I'll do exactly what they ask.
So is it true then you might be asked to hide certain things that might get people in trouble? Is there a little story around that?
Yeah, so my involvement now is into home sweep. So I go to people's homes and I clean them out before the family and friends find, it could be incriminating evidence, it could be sex toys, it could be sex dungeons, it could be, money, the will, could be anything.
Was there someone with a sex dungeon?
Yeah, you really glossed over that quite quickly.
Yeah, so there was a gentleman that was taken to hospital. He had a fall. He went to palliative care. He was 88 years of age. He was petrified that his 3 sons were going to find his, what you could say, a sex dungeon at his own home. And he asked me to go there and remove everything, which I did. I incinerated. I show him on my phone that I've done what I've done for him. And he was elated. And I can understand how embarrassed and ashamed he would have been for his sons to find all that. So, yeah.
I think that's a lovely thing to do for someone's, like, they want their private life to remain private, and it's nice to know that you're there for that. But you've become, people have started to know who you are now. You're the Coffin Confessor. You're in Australia, you're doing this. When you show up, what is people's reaction?
Well, the best reaction now is that those that know they're going to be out and leave. So I've done my job before I've even opened my mouth, which is a good thing. At the end of the day, people just love to go to a funeral where I am, I suppose. It's just one of those things now. I'm being hired all over the world.
I mean, is there anything that's a little bit out of the ordinary? Anything you've kind of had to say no to?
Not really. Look, there's nothing I won't say no to now. I've sat and thought about a lot of things. There's even those people that wish to confess to a serious crime. Now, if they tell me about the crime, I have to report it. So if they write it down and it's put in an envelope and posted to me, and it's not opened until the funeral, I don't have to report it until I actually know. So that's as far as I'd go.
Wow, right.
Oh my God.
So you get those sort of confessions. This is amazing. But I gathered there was, like, people ask you to bury them vertically, upside down. Where do these ideas come from? And what are the reactions of the family members whenever you tell them, no, your dad actually wanted to be buried upside down?
Look, it's no care or concern for me for the family or those left behind. It's all about my client. If my client wants to be buried vertically, that's what will happen. If they want their motorcycle buried with them, that's what will happen. If they want their mobile phone placed in the coffin, that's what will happen. Whether it remains there after I've done that, it doesn't matter. At least I've done my part, I've done my job. As for family and friends and everybody else, it's not their funeral, and funerals aren't for the living, they're for the deceased, and we've got to pay more respect for the deceased.
And in paying respects, once you had to go into a fella after he had passed away and he wanted you to strip him.
That's a request that a gentleman, he didn't have a great relationship with his family, and he knew they were going to go to the viewing, and he wished me to strip him naked and write "kiss this" across his buttocks so that when he's getting viewed, they can all read "kiss my ass," I suppose. Poke Mahone in Ireland, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. Hey, now, I gathered this has been turned into a movie. I mean, it would make a hell of a movie. Tell us, what have you heard? And, can we be expecting it in the cinemas anytime soon?
Well, I released a book recently called The Coffin Confessor, and through the book, I got a call from Paramount Pictures in the US, and since then I've been speaking to a lot of actors and a lot of people around the globe. Many actors who want to play the Coffin Confessor. One of them I spoke to only a couple of days ago was Marlon Wayans, who played in White Chicks with his brother, which was a great movie. A very funny man. I believe he'd make a great Coffin Confessor, so I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
So,
cool.
Like the stories in the book, Bill, like there's so many things about you going into will readings and having another will, and because there's vultures there trying to get stuff. It's fascinating and it's universal. Like, this is absolutely universal. So are you ever going to go global, or are you just going to treat the people of Australia to your special gifts?
Oh, no, absolutely going global. I got 4,800 requests from the UK, probably about 30,000 from the US at the moment, and quite a few from around Europe. So yeah, I will go global, absolutely. And like you just said, every person on the planet has a skeleton in the closet. It's just a matter if they want to let it out or not. And if they do, well, I'm here.
If they do, write it in an envelope and post it to you.
Bill.
Listen, Bill, Edgar, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Of course, your book is called The Coffin Confessor. It is available in bookshops now, and hopefully we might see it on the big screen because, boy, there's some great stories in that. Bill, thanks so much for chatting to us this morning.
Thank you for having me from the land down under. Take care, guys.
That's brilliant.
Cheers, Bill.
Let us know, 0896 111 111. Have you any confessions? We'll read them out anonymously this morning.
Completely. Send them in anything that you're like, yeah, I need to get rid of this, I need to get rid of that.
Fun.
There's always mad things that happen at funerals as well.
Yeah.
Like really mad things
and
that happen at funerals.
Like wills are a big issue. So having somebody like that in, this is the way it is, job done. Let us know. Now, time for a short break, but on the way, we're going to be having potato cakes in the kitchen.
Yeah, the number is 0896 111 111, by the way. And if you're planning some big home improvements, you don't want to miss our chat with Room to Improve's quantity surveyor, the one who keeps Dermot in check. Claire Irwin will be here. We'll see you very shortly.
Inspired by nature, powered by light. Becco Harvest Fresh sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
It's my favourite time of the morning.
Yes, Daniel Lambert is on Chef Duties this morning, and we're having potato cakes with a spicy twist.
With a spicy twist. There's no jalapenos in them this time, though.
All right. Why not? It's quite easy because you just have mashed potatoes there.
Yeah, so
even you're saying leftover mash from the night before.
Leftover mashed potato. I'll start with the spuds first. So again, Mars Pipers, the best potatoes to use. They're growing acidic soil.
Why'd you run the throw pipes?
I thought he was going to get one over.
It's like a catch.
Somebody was chucking it out there for a minute.
Show us an El Potato over there, will you?
Just throw the spuds around. I'm going to give them a quick peel. All right. Now, if you notice there, I've got a bit of vegetable stock in the pot. Don't like to cook potatoes in water because there's more flavour in vegetable stock. Everyone's got a few vegetables.
That's right. You boil the potatoes in stock, yeah.
It's a bit of a game changer, really.
Yeah, I've tried it actually since you said it, and it's nice, yeah. You notice the difference.
Do you?
So basically, once your spuds are nice and kind of cut up like that, just pop them in the water. Now, it's not boiling. It has to be kind of lukewarm or even cold if you want.
And bring them up to boil.
And bring them up to boil. That's kind of the same with most vegetables. Otherwise, they just overcook and they get very, very
So vegetable stock in your potatoes makes it...
It just adds a bit more flavour to it.
Makes sense.
It's a bit of a game changer.
Yeah.
Try it. Anyone at home listen, try it. It's very good.
Absolutely.
Once you have your potatoes made, that's pretty much what they look like.
And the potato masher, that's another thing you should get. I bought this because of Daniel too.
This is actually, it's a potato ricer. This is what I actually use. Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. I forgot about that.
The potato, you
just put the potato in there and basically...
And it's so good.
It's pretty cool. So, leftover mash. What you're going to do is you're going to add in some breadcrumbs. Okay. I've got some peas.
Peas?
Yeah, peas. It's really, really nice.
Like garden peas?
Garden peas. You can even use frozen peas as well. Peas in the pod. Some fresh chilies.
My kids love frozen peas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always in the freezer. Yeah. And then I'm going to add in about 3 teaspoons of corn flour. All right. And some fresh ginger.
There's a lot going in here.
Oh, yeah. And
where's the jalapenos?
Oh, no jalapenos today. So a little bit of salt.
God, there's a lot of
what
salt
I'm going to do is I'm going
to
add in my spices.
There's a lot of potatoes,
onion powder. Again, these are just kind of spices that are sitting in people's presses.
I was going to say that. So go through your spice rack and see whatever's in there.
To be honest, whatever you have in the press, just throw it in here. It'll taste lovely.
Chuck a bit of everything in.
Chuck a bit of everything in. So I've got cumin, garam masala, and that's actually the tiki spice. So basically, aloo actually means potato. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So
I mean, if you have kind of like leftover peppers, onions, anything, you could just dice them all up and fire it in.
Pretty much.
Way to kind of
that's pretty much it. And so that actually takes about 6 to 10 minutes to mash up properly. So I actually have one made here.
That takes 10 minutes to mash up.
Yeah, with the spices. Otherwise, what happens is you get lumps in the spices. When you cook them out, you get.
Would you use your hands? Is that the best way to do it?
Oh, you would, yeah. You'd use your hands. So I'll show you now. So basically, what I do is just get a small amount. Now you can use gloves, but I think it actually works better. Just clean hands, right? Yeah. Small.
See, when you look at them here, it looks like it's all breadcrumbs on the outside. I thought you were getting that and dipping it into egg and then dipping it into
You can do that as well. There's actually 2 ways to do it. So this is actually the easier way.
One here.
And you just there. Yeah. So you can see that's it there. And you press it down. It's kind of like a pancake. See that there? And in there, and you just fry them. See the way there's a small little sizzle.
Now,
you don't want it too hot.
Okay, you don't want it too hot.
You don't want it too hot at all. I would say put it on medium, even medium to low heat. Because what happens is the outside will burn and the inside just won't be hot.
Okay.
All right, so you can see that that's just frying there now.
But it's kind of cooked anyway. I mean, the potatoes kind of left over. It's been cooked from yesterday. So
exactly. It's one of those things you can use up. It's a family favourite, like, you know.
It's something I feel you get from an Indian takeaway.
Exactly.
And with what's the different sauces you have with it?
So I just have a mint sauce, and then I've got a little kind of a mango and chili sauce there as well.
Sorry, we have them here all made. If you want to have a look,
there won't be many left.
If you're making them, I actually have the recipe in my brand new book.
Hold on. Hold on. We want to show them at home how this looks. Look at them.
Look at that.
They look delicious.
Tell us about Lush.
Yeah, so I'm over the moon. I can't believe it's happening, but yeah, my first cookbook.
That's amazing. That's kind of following on from all your work on TikTok.
My TikTok, yeah. HarperCollins, you know, they got onto me, and it's a dream come true, really.
Amazing.
So
and when is it going to be in shops, hopefully?
It's September time. September 1st.
But you can pre-order it now.
Pre-order it now. All the links
and what are the recipes? All the stuff that you've been doing on TikTok?
So basically, I've got like Coca-Cola ribs, you know,
which you did for us.
Which I did. I did Coca-Cola ham actually for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
But I've got Coca-Cola ribs in there.
What about the Elvis burger? Is it in it?
The Elvis burger? No, it's not. The Elvis burger's not in there.
Oh, yeah. That was special.
We've got Jaeger bomb chicken wings as well.
Jaeger bomb chicken wings.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
To be fair, these are lush.
Yeah, lush.
I would say as well.
Lush. Why'd you call the book Lush?
Because it's luscious food.
Oh, luscious food. There we go. Can't beat that.
There you go. Right, way go, Al.
Coming up after the break, when Room to Improve's quantity surveyor Claire Irwin shares her do's and don'ts on home improvements. We'll see you after this.
Yummy.
Inspired by nature, powered by light. Becco Harvest Fresh sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Welcome back. We're joined now by the woman who's in charge of keeping an all-important eye on the purse strings on Room to Improve.
Good luck with that.
I know.
It's quantity surveyor Claire Irwin. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you getting on? Great to have you with us.
Very good.
You were a fan of Room to Improve, is that right?
Yeah.
How did you go about getting into the show that you're such a huge fan of?
I was an avid fan. I was in the process of building or renovating my own home with my husband, Declan. So we were tuning in every night. A friend of mine sent me something online to say that they were looking for a new QS. So I applied for the crack, really, to be honest. Didn't really think that I would get it, but yeah, I got it, and I'm enjoying it.
Were you not sitting there going, geez, Patricia had to leave because of the stress of Dermot, going, why on, Patricia, let me? And now he's doing it to you. Go on.
I know.
We could do, because we watch it and we're like, Claire's on her way in. This is where we're slashing the budget.
I know.
Like, is it as it's portrayed? Because it does seem, obviously, you're coming in with harsh
with the
news.
doom.
Oh, I know.
An awful lot of the time.
An awful lot of the time you're the bearer of bad news. But,
Yeah.
you know, an awful lot of the time then you're bringing in great news and savings and, you know, so... But, yeah...
But when he gives you the puppy eyes, being like, now, Claire, can
hard.
we not get the Italian marble? And you're like, no, Dermot. Like, you enjoy telling him no.
I
Come
know,
on.
you do. And sometimes you have to work miracles, you know, to try and jig it around and try and get what you can for the money that's there. So it's difficult.
But you're there,
It's good fun.
you're there trying to do your best, get for the best price for the client. Where Dermot obviously wants it to look the best. So, like, you're always going to be striking. Like, even off camera, is there any kind of touchy moments where the two of you are kind of at loggerheads a bit?
No, we have a good working relationship. We know the drill, you know.
Saying this.
No,
Come
we get
on,
on
Barry,
great.
come on.
We get on
He's a
great.
dolt,
There's-
yeah.
No, Dermot's, you know, it'd be very difficult not to get on with Dermot. Like, he's very easy-going, sound person to work with. So you just have to work together and make things work and, you know, rein him in and tell him, look, you don't have the money to do X, Y, or Z quite frequently.
Yeah. Do your own house, Dermot, then you realise the big windows. No, we can't be dealing with that.
I know.
Now, because I think in the last series when I was watching, honestly, room to improve is what taught me what a quantity surveyor does. You know, it's like, I was like, oh, they literally have the minutiae of a project. And a lot of it was Brexit, costs gone up, costs have gone up, costs have gone up. So this is your day-to-day at the moment, where we've got spiralling inflation and you're dealing with clients every day going, how are you lads?
Yeah, and the series that just aired earlier this year, we started it prior to the global pandemic. Yeah. So we had Brexit, the pandemic, we had all the construction lockdowns. Then when the jobs started back up, we had people going off with, they were close contacts, they had COVID, they couldn't get materials. It was really, really trying. But we got there, we got it finished. But even now, at the minute, we're working on the next series at the minute, and it's tricky, you know, because there's so much uncertainty out there in the market. Costs are soaring day to day things are rising. So it's a tricky time, it's a lot of management.
And there's so much talk at the minute. Listen, the property prices everywhere. It's insane. And there's all this talk about retrofitting and grants to do that. But it's not easy either. And you have first-hand experience of this. I mean, did it help that you kind of knew what you're doing, knew what you're getting into, and kind of what lessons have you got from that you can teach other people?
So carrying out my own personal retrofit, you mean? So that carrying out a construction project in your own home is the best learning experience that you'll ever have. And you kind of appreciate it. You're looking at it from the eyes of the client rather than from the QS perspective.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know...
Was Declan kind of fighting with you? Your husband going, OK, come on, Claire, you're on our team.
I know,
you're on this side.
And you're thinking, oh my God, right, I'm only going to do this once. Frig it, I'll put whatever extra in that I can stretch to. But then the reasonable QS head saying, right, OK, this is ridiculous, like rein it back. You can't do that. So, yeah, no, it's a good learning experience doing your own project.
What do you like doing a shop?
No, we're not getting the Fox's biscuits tonight. We're not getting the Fox's biscuits tonight.
I love like
basic brands.
Excel sheets. My husband Declan actually goes bonkers. We would be planning maybe a holiday. We went on holidays earlier this year and I had an Excel sheet. Okay, if I go this flight, if I go with this travel agent, I'm working out all different scenarios, and I just push it to another level.
Oh my God, do a side job as a wedding planner. You would kill that market. So at the moment, like, you have done your own project. You're dealing with this on Room to Improve as well.
Yes.
This is the retrofitting, which is obviously there's a big drive in Ireland to make our houses more energy efficient. That's house. Your gorgeous house.
Yeah.
Is that your gaff? Oh my! I'll move into the West Wing. So at the moment, if people are thinking about this, you know, because wasn't there a survey that found out like only a third of people knew what like B or
Bord
rating was?
Conducted a survey there recently, and they found out that about a third of people knew what a B or rating is. We've all heard about it, but it's really surprising the amount of people that don't actually know what a B or rating is. So a B or rating is a building energy rating, and it's a gauge of how energy efficient your home is. So the ratings range from an A to a G. So A-rated homes are the most energy efficient. They're the most economical to run. They have the least carbon footprint, and they're the most comfortable. Whereas G-rated homes, generally speaking, have higher running costs. They've a bigger carbon emission, and they're not quite as comfortable as an A-rated home. So
a big draft coming right through the living room.
Exactly.
Do all new builds kind of have to be built to a certain standard?
Yes, to A-rated, yeah.
To A-rated now. So the cost of that's even higher again.
Absolutely. So the cost to add that extra insulation into your home, put in your renewable heating system, is much more expensive now, to construct.
So for people who are wanting to do that nowadays, is there different levels that suit different people who kind of want a small house, medium or bigger house?
Yes. So the whole idea and ethos with the SEEI deep retrofit grants that are available now at the minute, they're to accommodate the older homes, the older stock of homes that aren't as energy efficient and that probably aren't A-rated.
Okay.
So to be eligible for those grants, your home has to be constructed prior to 2011.
Okay.
But this year, the SEI kind of changed the parameters a little bit in that if your home was built prior to 2021, which is fairly recent, you can get...
Yeah.
I know, it's great.
There was no houses built.
I know. You can get a grant for a renewable energy heating source or renewable technology in your home. So you can get, like, so say, for example,
what
if your home...
grants are you talking?
So say, for example, if your home was built prior to 2021, you can get a €6,500 grant for a renewable heat pump in your home.
Is that a heat pump?
Yes.
Can you?
Yeah.
How easy is it to get this?
Really easy, really easy. So there's 3 grant funding routes. The first route is a completely free route. So if you're in receipt of certain type of benefits, you can apply to the SEI and get your home completely upgraded to a B2 energy rating standard. They'll come in, manage the entire construction project. They'll carry out a BER assessment, get you a contractor, come back in afterwards, do a post-works BER and bring your home up to a B2. So in that situation, you have to be in receipt of benefits. It is means tested.
Yeah.
Your home has to be constructed prior to 2006.
Yeah.
And they're putting a big of an emphasis on homes that are built prior to 1993.
What are the other 2?
The other 2 is individual grants.
Okay.
So if you have a medium or to small budget, you can go on the SEI website and pick and choose what grants you want. So you could get grant funding of $1,500 to insulate your attic.
Yeah.
You could get $6,500 to put in a heat pump. You could get cavity wall insulation.
Right.
And then if you have a bigger budget, you can go on to the third option, which is a one-stop shop option. And in that's a fully managed suite, and there's a much bigger variety of grant funding options available.
I was looking at this last night. Now, you need the money, but like the whole house is...
So if you can stump up the money, which is a big deposit, but then the rest of it will be taken care of.
You need 50% of the money, but you can get up to 36,000. So that would be if you insulated your floor, changed out your windows, your heating system, insulation throughout.
It's so funny having you here, the fact you're mentioning grants, because I watch you all the time. Well, now, if we do this, we can get this grant, and if we can do that, we can get, all the system. My God.
But I want these windows.
We can get absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You're filming, it's all going well.
It's going good. We have the next season almost finished, and we're starting to recce houses for the following season.
Wow, you're busy.
And the couples are all good.
They're lovely, yeah.
Pregnancies, dogs, animals, all stay together.
Lots of that into the mix,
Full
it's
mental
all going to be there. Claire Irwin, Quantity Surveyor. Thank you. It's so lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for coming into us.
Yeah.
Lovely, absolutely
Love
lovely.
that show.
And now still to come, we're talking movie releases, and we've got your casual summer fashion fix sorted.
Brilliant. Plus, we're going to be showing you how to avoid those long airport queues by packing everything you need for your holiday in a carry-on case. We'll see you after the break.
You can bring 2 for 1 for Welcome back to your Thursday edition of Ireland AM. It's coming up at 9 o'clock.
Can't believe it's 9 o'clock. It's been a busy all morning. On the way, everyone's talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. I hope it's as good as the Ragnarok, because I love Thor Ragnarok.
Oh my God, I love it.
And our movie mogul, Brian Lloyd, is going to be here giving us the lowdown.
As always, we've got some lovely fashion looks on the way. Alan, what's on today's agenda?
Well, Barbara Stack is with us this morning, and she's sorting out our summer style. The sun is breaking through, Barbara.
Hear it, yeah, I'm dying to see it.
We are going to get some good weather.
All
what have we got?
All in time for this weekend. We've some gorgeous looks. We've gone to 2 Irish companies, Casual Company and Golden Spiderweb, and we've gone with casual looks that are still smart and stylish too.
Turn around again there. What's
the rope?
It's a rope detail belt.
Yeah, you can tie it in the front or in the back. So it's just really nice. Ursula's chosen to tie it at the back and just to emphasise her waist. But isn't it just a lovely dress?
That's very interesting.
See?
Then you could take it off and wrap a parcel then if you wanted to.
Put it in the boat.
So what else is coming up, guys?
So, hi, sorry, we're perfecting our packing with Kim's expert guide to make the most of our carry-on case, right? And I'm not joking, because I'm like, there can't be that much in there. And you're like, there's a lot in there. We're gonna
everything we need.
How many? Because, as we've been saying all morning, 500 bags being lost at Dublin Airport every single day. So it is an option for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to get those emergency outfits in your handbag at least.
Absolutely. Like, have a pair of knickers even in the handbag. You got it. At least bring a big handbag. So we're going to do that. So we're going to be doing rolling. We're doing it all in a while.
Yeah, we're doing it all.
There we go. And 0896 111 111 to get in contact with us if you've got any hacks that you would like to tell us. Now, absolutely loads of you have been getting in touch with your packing hacks. Some of them are genius. We're going to take a picture first. And this is from Monica this morning. Monica, thank you for sending this in. We haven't... Oh, she packs everything sideways. Look at the amount of clothes in that case.
Oh, so you put your
luggage.
bag like that and then just...
So that's laid flat on the ground.
What's the white thing at the top?
A bra. It's a padded bra. Just sorry. Okay, if Alan said that, I'd understand. You've seen a bra before, right?
Anyway,
oh, he's having a day, everybody. He's having a day.
Neve's got a good one. I read an article before that suggests that you could buy your toiletries and boots online and click and collect them when you get through to the duty-free in Dublin Airport. There you go.
I love this because you are allowed your duty-free bag. So you go through, no toiletries, straight through.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be taking stuff out. Go to Boots, click and collect what you've ordered, put them in your duty-free bag.
And you get the mini ones, so there's no waste.
You get the mini ones, and then you're on the plane.
And just have to leave them behind when you come back.
They've got bras and boots as well, I think, Tommy. You can order one of those.
I love that.
What about this? This is a really epic one, this one. We do these.
Yes.
So she said, take the stuffing out of the travel neck support cushion and fill it with T-shirts and underwear and stuff. That's so clever. So the cushion that you put around your neck on the plane.
Yeah, but the majority of those cushions are inflatable and you would have a flat anyway.
No, you get ones that have got cushion in them.
Yeah, some of them have cushion.
And that's an easy way of packing more stuff.
Pack in all the stuff on that.
Lots of people buy vacuum pack. Mary, I use the vacuum pack bags when packing my case. I have a mini USB pump that I can use for the return trip. It saves so much space, but not weight. Important
we use
to remember
those backpacks for bedclothes and all that sort of stuff as well. Really clever, yeah.
Some may keep
Do you vacuum pack the bras?
Yeah, if we need
You've
to.
never seen one before.
Right.
Keep those messages and those hacks coming in because we are at 9:45. We are going to be showing you how to do it professionally.
We sure are. Now, over to Deric.
Yes, professionally, that's it. Deric, how are you?
Guys, well, never mind rising house prices. These boys are the hottest property in the music industry at the moment. All the way from County Offaly, we're saying hello to Chasing Abbey, Roby and Teddy. See, I love the way it rhymes, boys.
Yeah. Good ring off it.
And some would say you're the biggest thing to come out of Tullamore since the road, the N52 to Killybegs.
I'd say that.
Ro, where did it all start?
Yeah, well, we, as you say, grew up in Tullamore, so a small enough town. We all went to the same school. Knew each other through that school, started playing music together. We've like big musical families. I grew up playing trad music, folk music, loved it. So just it was a natural thing for us to just start playing music together.
And it just progressed from there. And over the last few years, ye have backed some major performers, haven't you?
Yeah, I suppose the Chainsmokers would have been a big one for us. That was our first stadium show as well, so they're a huge inspiration for us. Enrique Iglesias, Martin Garrix, Zara Larsson.
Zara Larsson.
yeah.
Like phenomenal names.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was in the RDS, of course?
Yeah, in the RDS, yeah. That was the day. Rita Ora was actually there as well. That was a day to remember.
And I've seen your fans, and your fans go pretty wild and pretty crazy at the gigs. Yeah. They're great, aren't they?
Ah, for sure. We bring the energy, and so do they. Yeah.
And so do they. Now, Teddy, see, you're kind of like the Teddy of the group, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm the Teddy.
You're the daddy of the group. Talk us through your brand new single.
Yeah, so our brand new single, Hometown, is coming out with Marty.
And Marty Guilfoyle, obviously, from Spin, yeah?
From Spin, yeah. And it came about, we were sent a track. Marty had a track, he sent it to us. And he was like, give it a remix. So we gave it a remix. We loved the track, it's an amazing track. We gave it a remix, sent it back, he loved it. He sent it to the team, everyone loved it, and it actually became a brand new release with a collaboration with Marty. So,
which is great. Now, I know you're doing the Circuit Festival at the moment. You recently played
C-Sessions
in Bundoran.
That was one
of your favourite spots.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a VTAV in action. Let's take a look.
Driving through the streets, yeah, that's my city. Everybody knows you. You know how we gon' do.
Lately, I love that song, Ro. 5 million streams.
Yeah, really proud of that one because obviously we released that during the pandemic, which was tough. It was a challenge, but did really well for us. And playing at C-Sessions.
And you're getting back up on your feet now as well, Ro.
Yeah. The first tune actually you heard in that video as well is Hometown. That's the one that's coming out tomorrow. So,
okay, a big one coming tomorrow. Okay, a couple of viewers' questions. Who's the loudest snorer of the group? I think
just in Cork.
B.
Oh, B. I don't know.
Who's the mammy boy of the group?
Ted.
Oh, it has to be Ted.
It is.
Little Teddy.
It is.
That's from Tanya in Cork. Your biggest celeb crush, Ro?
Oh, God.
Anytime
Come
today.
on. Anytime today. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go. Would you ever enter the Love Island villa?
B, my thing.
I'd consider it, but no.
Lisa wants to know, and also Mary in Waterford wants to know, would you ever date a fan, Teddy?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously I'm in a relationship, so, but if I wasn't, I would.
Okay, if you weren't, you would. Okay, well, boys, best of luck with your brand new single tomorrow. Of course, Hometown, we look forward to supporting you, getting behind you as well, all with Marty Guilfoyle as well. So there we have it, lads. Hometown, brand new single out tomorrow. Can we give a big hop up from all the boys? Hop, Cheers, back to you guys in the studio.
Fair play to you, Deric. Hop, hop.
Hop up. Hop up. Come on, give us one hop up for all the boys.
No, you're grand.
Alan, I love those boys. They're great. Love the music as well. Congratulations on the new single. Now it's time for a quick break, but on the way, our movie maestro, Brian Lloyd, will be reviewing the latest releases. See you then. You're very welcome back. Now we are standing by for Boris because it is believed that he has agreed that he is going to step down imminently. But if that does happen, we'll go straight across to it. But for now, much more crack. From Thor, Love and Thunder to
Another
the
blonde
Children
fella.
Return. Our movie reviewer, Brian Lloyd from entertainment.ie, is here to give us the latest verdict on all the movie releases.
Hello.
Hello.
For once before this, we weren't talking about movies. We were just talking about Boris Johnson.
Everyone was just on their phone. Just like, he's resigned. Yeah, he's resigned. Yeah, he's resigned.
Well, no, he hasn't. It's been widely reported that he is going to resign today, that he has finally realised, oh, there's no politicians left that will support me. So he was apparently ringing people up, asking them to take jobs, and they were just saying,
I got called. Did you get a call?
Did you get a call? I haven't it on my phone.
Minister for Transport.
I've been on air.
I was just like, yeah.
Minister for Culture. That's what he could do. You know, culture was there. Okay, what we're going to do first is Thor. We've been calling it in here Tommy Love and Thunder this morning because his wife loves Thor so much. So, you know, that's nice.
Loves a bit of Chris Hemsworth. Who doesn't love Chris Hemsworth?
I mean, like that body, like, you know what I mean? That body, yada, yada. He's got. I mean, it's incredible, yeah.
Okay, so what is Thor Love and Thunder about?
So, if you've seen Thor Ragnarok, you kind of get the vibe. It's kind of like an action comedy sort of thing. Thor, you know, has gone through a lot of kind of personal travails. Now he's trying to kind of find himself, find the inner peace in himself. As he's doing this, Christian Bale's character, Gore, the God Butcher, decides to go on this big campaign of revenge, and he's targeted Thor because Thor, as we know, is the god of thunder.
Yeah.
Lots of sci-fi and special effects ensue. Also, Natalie Portman returns as Jane Foster, and big shocking twist, she now controls Mjolnir, which is the hammer of Thor. And she actually is the mighty Thor now. Yeah.
Because she controls the hammer.
I'm watching the trailer there, and it wouldn't sell it to me as much as how much I loved Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Because Thor Ragnarok, it was funny.
It's a comedy.
Great story. Yeah. Like, it was excellent.
Yes.
Is this funny? Is this got
It is,
those
yeah,
little
no, they're
touches in it
definitely.
too?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I mean, it's the same director, Taika Waititi. Like, he's back and he's doing the exact same thing that he did in Thor Ragnarok, which is trying to be very, very funny, trying to be very wry and witty about it.
Okay.
The thing I would say about this is that in Thor Ragnarok, it felt like very spontaneous. It almost felt like they were trying to kind of riff.
Because they were. Because they literally were. Yeah. It was all, I'll throw this line out and see what happens.
Exactly. That's it. And you can really kind of see that spontaneity, whereas this time around, it's very much like, right, funny worked the last time, do it again this time. Okay. And you can feel like it's a little bit more studied. I mean, Natalie Portman, I mean, she is funny in it, but you can tell comedy is not her strong suit.
Okay. This is what I was worried about, because, you know, in Your Highness, it's like you're an amazing actress, but you don't, it's not the comedy thing. No. Like, I want to see Colin Farrell doing more comedy. But we've got a clip here, and this is Thor. He's reunited with Mjolnir, because obviously he's got the axe now after the Avengers on the battlefield, but there is a slight problem.
What is it?
So that's the ex-girlfriend, is it?
The old ex-girlfriend.
Jodie Foster.
Jane Foster.
The one that got away.
The one that got away.
That means escaped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must be hard for you to see your ex-girlfriend and your ex-hammer hanging out and getting on so well. What you up to, bro?
Go to Daddy.
No.
No, Neil. Ah, hey. I was just calling you.
Yeah, and that's a recurring thing that like it just like comes into like this frame like that. It's really funny.
But that's not the one he wants, obviously.
It's like not the favourite child. It keeps on coming. You're like,
it's even kind of like, yeah, it's like kind of ex-girlfriends just kind of like appear and out of the side. Not that that's ever happened to me or anything like that, but like,
I wouldn't say it happens to Chris Hemsworth too often either. Who's the Kiwi guy in it?
That's Taika Waititi. That's the director.
Okay, he is so funny in the last one.
What's happening, bro?
Yeah,
what's happening, bro?
And he based that apparently. I was reading an interview he did. He basically based Korg on bouncers in New Zealand that he knew. That they're these like really massive like well-built dudes, but they're so nice and so lovely and really kind of soft-spoken. Yeah, that's right.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
that's exactly how bouncers in New Zealand are like. They're so chill and mellow.
And like really nice.
How are we rating it? Come on, let's.
Now I'm going to say for me, Thor Ragnarok is like a 5 out of 5 movie.
Yeah.
I watch it over and over again.
And I'm fed up with Marvel. I was kind of saying this year. I'm so fed up with Marvel, but I could watch Thor Ragnarok over and over.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is like a good crack. It's not as good as Thor Ragnarok, I don't think. I still think Thor Ragnarok is like the best Thor film, probably one of the best Marvel
movies.
Yeah. I'd give this like 3 out of 5.
Do you know what? I'm going to take it, and I bet you that made me laugh. That scene
there you
made
go.
me
Like
laugh.
that's enough. Yeah. If you're not expecting a lot, if you're expecting to laugh, it's easy laughs.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next one. The Railway Children. Is this a little bit different?
Yeah. Big time. The Railway Children return because there was a film in 1970, in fact, that was this really kind of like very like. Oh, darling.
This is very British.
Very British.
Yes.
It's so British.
Based on a book.
Based on a book, yeah, that was by, I can't remember the guy's name now. But yeah, like very, very British. So this is set in 1944 during World War II. A bunch of kids are evacuated to the country from Manchester. While there, they go on adventures. They meet a young American soldier who's played by KJ Akins. There's a lot going on with this. Like, I mean, you can see that they're trying to make it kind of a bit more kind of relevant. There's like a sort of subplot about racism in the US Army. That was a real thing that happened in America. That basically, or in the American Army, they segregated black and white soldiers and stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to sound like I'm insulting it. I'm really not.
Like, no irony, we're fighting Nazism, but let's segregate our own soldiers.
Yeah, that's weird. But like, this is the kind of film that you could very easily bring your mum or your granny to, and it would be totally fine. Like, it's very like Sunday matinee kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, as in, you would watch this on a very kind of boring Sunday afternoon, and it'd be pleasantly entertained by it.
I like Sheridan Smith though. As an actress.
She's great.
And she's good in it,
She's really good in it, yeah. She's like very kind of warm, very charming. John Bradley as well is in it. People know him from Game of Thrones.
Yes, he's the...
Go on.
Your man in Game of Thrones.
The guy with the beard.
Yeah, he's with Jon Snow.
Yes, Jon Snow, yeah.
Okay, so how are we looking? What do you reckon? Are you kind of...
3 out of 5, like, it's very, like, it's nice, it's fine.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it's fine, it's nice, it's very sweet, it's very charming, it's very old school, like, it's really kind of old school family adventure.
In a few years, you'll be played on the BBC on the Queen's birthday
exactly.
sort of thing. Yeah,
there
okay,
you go.
Gotcha.
There you got it.
The Railway Children.
Now we're going to move along to Brian and Charles. What's this movie about?
This is a quirky sci-fi comedy. The story of this is that a sort of an eccentric loner in rural Wales decides one day that he's had enough being bored and lonely and basically builds a robot out of a washing machine. And the robot...
MacGyver style.
Yeah, just decides to make this robot all by himself. And the robot is made out of a washing machine and different parts.
That's Brian, who's people will know him from the Ricky Gervais Afterlife.
Correcto mundo.
I listened to an interview with him recently. This has gone really well over in America.
Yeah, it went nuts.
It's in the top 10 films in America.
Yeah. It was in it was at the Sundance Film Festival. Yeah, the Americans went nuts for this. I thought it was fine. Like, it's funny. Like, it's very kind of quirky and odd, and I think. It's the kind of film that, like, Americans would lose their nut over because, like, it's very sort of, like, twee and funny and quaint, whereas, like, I think Irish and maybe British audiences would look at this and be like, yeah, that's funny, but, like, there's not much else kind of going on.
Are you comparing it to Short Circuit, or are you
Yeah,
not?
I would think it's of a similar vein, basically, yeah. Like, I mean, I would think if the camera work was more fussy, you'd nearly think it was a Wes Anderson film or something like that, that sort of way, because it's very, very sweet and very quirky.
Gotcha.
And he wrote it as well and is directing it as well, the main actor. He's from Aftermath, isn't he?
Yeah.
Afterlife, sorry.
Afterlife, yeah. He wrote the script, and it was actually a short film that they did a few years back as well. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's fine, but I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's, yeah.
What I do like about it, an hour and a half.
That's it,
what a
90
movie
minutes.
should be. Love that.
Yeah.
What are you giving it out of 5?
Again, 3 out of 5.
Okay, 3.
They're all 3s, yeah.
3 out of
They're all
3 out of
3s. They're all
3s.
grand. They're all okay. Like.
Does Chris Hemsworth get a point just for anti-cohesion?
If I was going to watch one, which would you recommend?
I'd say Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay, there you go. Brian Lloyd from entertainment.ie. Thank you so much.
Back on the phones.
Always.
Has he resigned? Yeah, he hasn't
Nothing
officially
yet.
resigned. No, he hasn't.
Stepped out yet.
Still to come, we'll keep you up to date with what is happening as to whether he has resigned or not, Boris Johnson. And we've got summer style. Well, is he going to be sent packing from number 10? We're going to be doing packing next. Today's fashion is all about summer dressing. There's going to be a lot of this over the next few weeks.
There is, with the sun shining over the weekend. Barbara Stack is here now to show us how it's done. Good morning to Barbara.
Sunshine today.
You did, and it's lovely out here this morning.
Absolutely, we're promised
we're very
this sun
happy about this.
Since Tuesday, but it's here today. It really is, and we've got everything you need to dress for the weather.
So we're starting with Natalia today.
Natalia, yeah, you know, when it comes to like romantic, folksy dresses, nobody does it better than casualcompany.ie. This dress is just timeless and effortless, but it's really smart and stylish too. Like, it ticks a lot of boxes. Lovely pink colour. You see the square neckline there is really nice. It's pink colour, but it's also available in latte. And
what's latte now?
Latte is kind of a coffee colour, like
brown.
Like a rich, creamy colour.
Latte.
Yeah, exactly. In sizes 8 to 18. So the square neckline is lovely there. So that really elongates your neck as well if you have a short neck. Nice shape on it. Lovely puff sleeves. And you can see the bodice there is gathered at both the front and at the back on this lovely dress.
And would the bag now be considered a latte bag?
No, the bag is
it's not
bit
latte.
No, that's brown.
That's brown.
That's brown. Exactly, absolutely. We'll bring a colour chart the next time we're here. But do you know what's great is the full skirt, like that really swishy skirt. You know, that A-line skirt is flattering no matter what your age, your shape, your size. It really is just universally flattering. And so it's a great look. You can see the way Natalia is wearing it there.
Absolutely
nice length
lovely.
on it too. I like just above the knee.
Are you just ignoring the bag?
Oh, no, I'm not just
We saw
ignoring
the bag.
I'm not just seeing the bag, yeah. And we've these lovely sliders. Like, sliders are just fabulous, particularly for this weather. They're just so comfy, so easy. You know, you could walk all day, whether you're in the city or at the beach.
Yes.
They're just a great
They
look,
have
I
the
think.
Hermes feel to them, don't they? They really do.
A tribute to Hermes, I think we would say.
A tribute, would we? Yeah. Thank you,
I
Natalia.
think
Now
so.
we've got Bev in
So
with our
it's
second
the
look today.
lovely Bev back again. You know, it's this gorgeous look from goldenspiderweb.ie. And, you know, a great top can pull together an outfit, or it can really elevate a pair of jeans like we've done with this look here. I love the combination of slouch and style in this top. You can see the lovely lilac colour, but it's also available in a light blue colour as well. The top is kind of fitted. It gives her a lovely shape, but, you know, as you go down, it's a more relaxed, slouchy feel, so it's actually forgiving. Nice button detail there, and nice shape on the bodice as well. It's just a really lovely print on it as well. This really works, I think.
And is it just in this colour?
No, blue as well.
Blue as well.
Blue as well, Alan. Yeah.
So you've
we've
teamed it
put
with
it
a
with
pair
these joggers, yeah. And joggers are really the love child between leggings and jeans. They are just great. They have the comfort of leggings, but, you know, the styling of a pair of jeans. These are in white, but they're also in black and navy in sizes 8 to 18. Lovely pocket details, gently elasticated waist, and a nice slim shape as well. And, you know, white jeans, they're just as casual, you know, as classic as a pair of jeans in the winter. They really are. They're great building
And
blocks.
a nice pair of sandals.
But a nice pair of sandals, just really easy, comfortable sandals. Just your you know, they're classic, they're simple and very comfortable.
Kind of blush. Absolutely lovely, Bev.
Yeah,
Thank
Bev
you
looks
so
great in that.
much for
I
that
think.
today.
And next we have Ursula. And Ursula, it's a different look from Golden Spiderweb. They've gone much more into dresses now, and Ursula's wearing this lovely dress. It's
Your
in
hair is
navy.
growing. You're going to be Rapunzel by the end of the summer. Look at it. It's going like mad.
It's lovely, isn't it? So this is in navy, but it's also available in blue. And again, lovely tiered skirt, lovely shape on it. It's in sizes 8 to 18. And what I like about this dress, it's not only the print and the shape, because it's very flattering. You can see I love the sleeves. They're just very unusual. They're kind of a drop sleeve on those. And again, just a wide shape on it. And the belt is really...
The belt is like a rope effect.
The belt is a rope effect. So if you can see it on the back, Ursula's tied it to the back there to give her a lovely waist shape. But again, you can tie that to the front. So it's a lovely nautical kind of a feel on the dress.
We're making her work for today, aren't we, Ursula?
Yeah, she's styling as she's modelling. She's like most women, double jabbing. So, and I like the tiered skirt on this.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
prairie look in it is really
kinda,
lovely.
Yeah, like a 70s kind of a vibe, isn't it, Maureen? I like it.
Yeah, it just looks real comfy.
Looks really good, and we've put these kind of Birkenstocky sandals again. Yeah, again, you can wear this with heels. You know, this dress, you can wear it into winter with a slouchy cardigan, and we've just put it with these sandals here, but you can wear that with boots or shoes into winter. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ursula.
Natalia is back with us for our final look.
With our final look, and you know, it just goes to show that you see this black. This dress is only available in black, and it's from casualcompany.ie. I love the effortless grace of it. You can see.
Start with the headband.
The headband. Yeah, it just goes to show that you don't have to be really going to a dressy occasion to wear a headband.
Yeah, but it's really, it's lovely, like.
It is, and I know from days that your roots are bad, a headband is lovely as well. You know, it just
hide
kind
the
of
roots.
Covers a multitude, and I like the pearl detail on this. It's a nice wide band, and you can use it. Natalia's just put it on her hair there, but you can also, you know, pull your hair back with it. So it's kind of practical as well as really stylish. So.
And the dress?
Yeah, you know, this is just the perfect summer dress. The amount of detail and thought that goes into it, it's just a really beautiful dress. The nice, you can see the full skirt on it there, and it's tiered, but what I like about it as well is not only the swishy skirt, it's the square neckline and the full puff sleeves. Just they're nice at the wrist detail there. The skirt is very forgiving, the dress is very easy. It's the, you know, throw on and go, do everything, wear everything dress. We've styled it here quite formally, but equally you could throw that on over your bikini at the beach.
Yeah,
so we put that lovely square little bag with it as well. Again, that's a more formal look on it, but you could wear that with a beach bag as well. So again,
a woven
everything
bag
is
and a basket bag. Yeah,
a bit of glitz on the
sandals. A bit of glitter. Love these sandals. Nice flat kind of Egyptian style, aren't they? Shape on those. Again, your flats. You can wear these with runners or wedges as well, but the flats we styled them with today, and that's Natalia looking great.
Lovely,
so
thank
all
you,
our looks
Natalia.
are Casual Company and Golden Spiderweb.
Great stuff.
Thank you,
Barbara.
Thanks,
Barbara Stack.
Thank you.
Now, on the way next, we're packing the ultimate carry-on case to save you queuing for baggage drop at the airport or losing your luggage.
That's it. Look, Kim is ready to go.
There she is, ready to go. What's that in your hand? Oh, no, it's not another bra, is it? No, it's not. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks for staying with us. Now we're hearing all those horror stories of lost luggage when travelling abroad these days.
So with that in mind, we've challenged pro-organiser Kim Fitzgerald from Assorted Affair to show us how to pack the perfect carry-on case. Kim, it is lovely to have you here. Something you actually experienced recently because you were heading off on a flight.
Yeah, we went to a wedding in Ibiza, and I would say at least 20% of the wedding party did not have luggage. Best man included.
Oh, no.
No suit, so he ruined the dress code. He'll kill me for saying that, but he didn't. Shorts and a shirt instead of his lovely suit. What could he do? There was nothing. It did arrive back in Ireland, but he wasn't going to risk it getting over here. But it was 2 days later, and there's one person who came, and they still haven't found their case.
Wow.
Like it's
how many weeks ago was
missing? 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
And it wasn't like everyone came from Dublin either. Some of them flew through Barcelona, some of them flew through London.
So this is a problem.
It's a problem everywhere.
So if you don't have to check in luggage, bring it on board, keep it with you. It's the safest way.
100%.
But there's like even Tommy was saying earlier on, it's impossible sometimes with kids not to do that.
It is.
But we're going to try and see how much we can fit in to a carry-on case.
You'd be very, very surprised. Like, I have packed enough here for a week.
Do you? Okay.
Just for you.
Just for me.
How many outfits are in there?
There is like 5-day outfits. There's like 3 or 4 going out outfits. There's 2 swimsuits. There's pajamas. There's books. There's belts. There's you name it. It's in there.
Why would you bring pajamas on your holidays?
Oh, well, some of us sleep in our pajamas, Alan. Just little shorts.
Is this why Tommy doesn't know what a bra looks like? Because none of you wear any underwear. I don't know.
Maybe we need to do another segment next time. So it depends on where you're going as well. We're not all lucky enough to be heading off to the sun.
Okay.
You might actually need warm clothes.
Exactly.
But then you wear them on the...
You do,
like,
you wear
if you're going on
you do a Joey on it and you wear as many clothes
I'll wear
as you can
the,
on
if
the
I'm
plane.
going to bring something out at night, like a cardigan or a
Yeah, like
jacket,
a hoodie
I'll wear all them
on the plane.
You've got some clever folding hacks, right?
I do.
We're going to do that first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what can we do?
This is our Pune punami pack, as we call it, yeah? So this is, Alan has the contents in front of him. So you've got a nappy, you've got socks, you've got leggings, you've got a top, and you've got a vest, and you're going to roll it all up into one. So I'll open my punami pack here. I'll do it here.
So this is to bring on your carry-on, in your handbag even.
In your handbag or in your case. So you could literally, you know, you could imagine kitting this out with like 7, you know, standard outfits.
For a little bit, for a kid.
Exactly, yeah. So you just have your vest. I have the vest kind of already here. So you're going to fold it over like this. Yeah, and then you're going to fold everything that you have or that you want to get in the same size as the top of the vest. You're going to pile it all on top of each other and you're going to roll it. Yeah, like a sausage roll almost.
Now, come here. Is it not... I know. Is it not easier just to lay them flat? Is it not? Would that not take up less room?
It could be. This is more aimed at kind of smaller baby. So if you're on the plane and you have a punami problem, and you need to grab and go very quickly, exactly. Now, that's not the neatest, but you get the idea.
It looks like a toilet roll.
But you could do an adult version of that. You know, if like you really wanted to be visual, you could have a bodysuit, a pair of leggings, you know, your underwear, whatever you needed.
So there's my one.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play.
It's all about keeping things compact. So, like, packing cubes are kind of a big, popular thing at the moment. You don't necessarily need packing cubes. Like, a small case is a packing cube in a sense. That's why it has this kind of zipper. But when you put items into, I've just brought, like, you know, your dust bags from your handbags or what you got your leggings in, you know, trying to pack items in and just like take the pressure out of them, almost like that vacuum bag idea.
You sometimes get worried about vacuum bags.
I do. I would worry, number one, creases. I'm allergic to ironing. I don't like to do it. Rena does all that for me. But as well as that, imagine that vacuum thing didn't work for some reason on the way home and you're then left with all this excess amount of stuff and you're trying to get it back in.
Okay.
So not the best idea.
Right.
But you want to think stuff. So you want to stuff your shoes. Yeah. You want to, if you're
so
bringing
I was saying I do that because if you bring 2 pairs of runners...
Stuff your bra.
Can we have a look in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Stuff your runners with underwear, socks.
So I've got a swimsuit in my shoes here. I've got a T-shirt there. I've got a handbag and I've got a dress in there.
Everything
in
there.
So trying to kind of make the most of all the little bits of space.
Now, and
I brought a jumper, a scarf. I really kind of covered everything in here, but it just shows you how much you can actually get in a little laundry bag as well.
And do you recommend the packing cubes? Like, I see that now and it looks so unbelievably neat and mine is always
It's very handy because, especially even with children's, when you arrive on holiday, all they want to do is get ready and go. And if you imagine if everything's together and you can't really see the sun from...
Now, what about I just like to fold and press it in, and there is folding hacks. There's a lot of folding hacks.
There is indeed,
and online there's lots of.
So, like, this is a pair of leggings. You know, you can get everything really, really small.
Can you show us? This is a hoodie.
This is a hoodie.
We've got about 130.
Okay.
What's?
I have everything in this
hoodie.
So I have a hoodie. Okay, I have flip-flops, I have a sports bra, a sports top and leggings all in the hoodie. Yeah, now I'll show you without the clothes in it, but basically you fit everything you can in, you roll it all the way up towards the hood and then you tuck everything inside the hood and then pull the string, so it'll make it nice and compact. So if you
could wrap that around you and bring it on the plane.
Yeah, you could as well, exactly, but if it was too hot...
I would wrap that, I would stick that, because they were not going to say anything. That just looks like a bit of...
And they do seem to be a bit...
I just tie it around me and get on.
They do seem to be a bit more relaxed as well. I could, like, from what I've seen on the planes, they do seem to be a bit more relaxed. It's not just that one handbag and that one bag. I think
because they realise at the moment...
I think they're a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're going away and you can't bring hand luggage, bring an emergency supply of an outfit for everyone if you can. Throw it in the handbag.
I cannot recommend this more as an idiot in 2019 who actually forgot to pack her bag when she was going away. I always have emergency clothes in my handbag when I'm travelling. Just so as that, you know, you got knickers, you got T-shirt, you got a pair of jeans.
I mean, if I learned anything 3 weeks ago, it was definitely to always have an emergency outfit
in your bag.
Guys should bring a handbag.
Absolutely.
You can bring carry-on and a handbag.
And another thing, do not pack your medication in your suitcase, because if that gets lost, always bring your medication, especially stuff that you might need.
And they allow for extra items like that as well in the airport.
Kim from Assorted Affair, you can find them online, of course. She's got everything there and all these tips and everything. It's lovely having you in. Thank you so much,
I'm
Kim.
off on my holidays now.
There she is. Now, the big news this morning is that Boris Johnson is set to resign as Conservative leader in the UK following more resignations this morning. It's understood he's going to make a statement later today, Tommy, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to remain in office until the autumn to allow a Tory leadership contest to take place. So, of course, if you want to stay on top of that, Virgin Media News will keep you up to date on the latest online throughout the day. And, of course, tune in to the 12:30 news. I think it's all kicking off over in the UK at the Met. Boris Johnson is under a lot of pressure, and we're just seeing it is reported all over social media that he is expected to make an announcement very soon. He's polishing off the lectern. Listen, that's all we've had time for today. The two guys are off packing their bags. Join Suzanne, Elaine and Simon tomorrow for Ireland AM. Have a great weekend.